It's time for another Dead by Daylight review. I really shouldn't play around that much. I feel that I am starting to get sick. I have tried preventative measures and things like that, but sometimes the body must get sick to get stronger, or something along those lines. Ha. First thing I'd like to start off is yesterday, not yesterday, yeah, yesterday, we covered the Berserker. Went through everything. I sent that. He commented back. Looking at this now, one ain't my best concept. So, that guy has went back, looked at his concept, and has figured it out. Nice. Let's see. Today, if they are readily available, I would love to go over Galenonum's and Critty's concepts today. Tomorrow would work fine too, because there is extra things. One thing that I found interesting is somebody apparently posted some ghost-faced art or something, and behavior closed. Ghosty Boy. Post edited by Mandy Talk at 12:47. So behavior admins are looking through. Oh my, and he got scolded by behavior. Are you the artist of this work? No, but I thought I would share it. Please do not share work which is subject to copyright on this platform, especially without crediting the artist. We have terms of service that you signed up to when you made an account on this platform. I do suggest abiding by that and the forum rules. This discussion has been closed. Miss Mandy Talk. You know, you could have just asked him nicely to credit his artist. You didn't have to just completely delete all of everything that he posted up there. The man don't have that many posts. What you have effectively done is probably stop this guy from posting any type of future content on this particular forum because you're in a bad mood or something like that. Or maybe you just got hired and you want to flex your power. Not how you do that. It's how you get demoted at your job. You need to show some respect to the players, the people that are actually, giving you money and providing and breathing life into the particular game. You do not want to have that you are a behavior or you're from behavior and do something like this. Every action that you do with a behavior account is going to be monitored by every single person. Now that you've shown your face on this forum for everybody to see, everybody's going to be expecting a specific value to be upheld. And as we all know, behavior doesn't really uphold those values. So for you to come out of the woodworks to delete an artist's post, might not have been his, whatever, but all you had to do is say, please credit the original author. That's it. And went on your day. Do you know how many things that are posted in this form that is art that's not by them, that isn't credited to the original artist or to the game or to anything else? Why did you specifically pull this one person that only had, well, before this, because each one of these counts as a post? So that's one, that's two, and this would count as three. So he had four posts before that he's done, probably all similar. He got up today. He said, "Oh, this art is cool about Ghostface. I think I'll post it." And you immediately bonked him. Don't you think that's kind of cruel to discriminate and pull him out against something like that? The man even had upvotes and everything on that. It just is very unfortunate how you would pull somebody to make an example of them like that. And not only did you take the time to abuse your power because you're either new or in a bad mood to come in and abuse your power, you came in and you messaged the guy and kept talking and talking and talking to the guy. You know, are you the artist of this work? And what if he would have said yes? Then what? What if he would have lied to you? Because, I mean, if you want to go to legalities of this, you technically, being a moderator and all of that, and you're asking to know whether or not you can take the work down, he doesn't have to legally answer you. And you don't have the legality to actually ask him this particular question. You realize this, right? Yes, you have a terms of service. Yes. But, you know, the law trumps your terms of service. Your terms of service could say anytime anybody accesses content, they must pay behavior $5. But regardless if your terms of service says that you have to pay somebody $5 to do this or that, the law still trumps that. So in the future, I would recommend you not go on a power trip and not publicly come in and reprimand other particular users of the forum. And if you are going to remain on this tirade that you are, you better make sure that you damn well stay relevant. I want to see you popping in on every post that has any issues on it that breaks your terms of service. Because guess what? There are loads of them. Because I view almost every single individual post. There are a lot of them that are like this. So I'd better see your name, Miss Mandy Talk, pop up on every single post that I do a review of that isn't right. And if you can't hold yourself to that standard, you might want to think about apologizing to this guy and quit being a tyrant on this particular forum. Luckily for you, I have two friends' concepts that I'm trying to cover today. Or I would have just gotten off the forum and never would have came back. Nobody wants to play or be in a forum, play a game or anything like that that has moderators running around being dickheads. If you were in the game doing this to people, they would just turn it off, uninstall a game, and find something else. You would have videos over you, humiliating you. If you got into the wrong YouTube or a Twitch streamer, you would be well known as that person that overstepped their bounds. All because of an artwork? Now, there are a lot of people that do credit the original artist because they are friends of them, or they draw them themselves, or they have friends, and they're affiliated with the people and they're trying to get them business. Which is against terms of service, by the way. There's a place to advertise things in the form, but I mean, it's fine when other people advertise their works and things like that. You don't say anything about it. Hello, Galanonum. I was just going over how this particular admin, Mandy Talk from Behavior, came in and clapped this dude's post on his like fourth post or fifth post, came in and clapped this guy's post because he didn't credit an author for using their picture. When every other concept I review, nobody ever credits authors for the most part, unless it's their friend and they're trying to promote their business. And it's just crazy how this person, who I assumed is new or on a tirade because she's in a bad mood and her boss or something yelled at her, and she's just a boo hoo, came in, asked this man if he's the artist of the work. He said no, but I thought I'd share it. And then she completely go over there and started clapping him, talking about terms of service, when we both know that like every other post in this forum is against terms of service. It's either advertisement for a specific author, it's either pictures being taken from other places or other sources and post as part of their concept images and things like that. But they just don't care. I personally would like another higher up from Behavior to come back through and apologize on behalf of her and embarrass her so she could learn her particular place and not go on tirades in the future. But today, I have plans of reviewing you and Pretty's. Oh, that's fine. Pause for a minute. Gonna be behind. That's fine. I have plans today to review you and Critty's projects, creations today. So I'm decided to stay and do those instead. If not, if she would have posted this today and those weren't up, I would have literally just got off and not done another review ever. All right. You'll wait a small moment to give you time to you can just skip ahead. All right. Now we are going to go over Galanonum's chapter concept, Mortal Solitude. Hmm. Got two new things down there too. Yeah, start us down here. Why not? Just wanted to mention that I'm thinking of increasing quick thinking movement speed to 20% since this perk seems rather weak. Also forgot to mention that it's not my art, but it's a Google image graphic. I'm sorry for that. Honestly, you shouldn't even have to mention that it's from a Google image. I also used the image that wasn't mine in the chapter idea. Yeah, I seen that in the comments and all of that. You shouldn't have to say that the image is from Google Images. You shouldn't have to say that. These are just part of concepts and ideas and things like that. You're not posting anything as yours. You're not saying, look at my drawing and all of this or anything like that. You're putting a concept together and then you are putting in an image. So there's no reason for her to come through and pull that from somebody. We're not doing it for profit. She's talking about copyrights and everything else. You're not doing this for profit. If they incorporate the picture into their game, it's their own dang fault for not checking sources or not, you know, asking for sources or etc. etc. That's their fault for not finding that information out. We are just making concepts for fun and hopefully that some of it will get implemented in the game, etc. etc. We don't even have to say what the particular killers that we're trying to make comes from a different movie, game, or anything like that. If they want to take it to the next step, they have to figure that information out and do the research on it to design the killer and do everything like that. That's their problem. Don't put another artist's work on this. It doesn't matter. He's showing a picture saying, hey, this is a cool picture I found. You guys like it? No need for her to remove that. She overstepped her bounds, and I hope she realizes that. Or at least I hope somebody makes her realize that. Anyway, the killer is going to be a Banshee. The killer would look like an undead elderly woman with a ragged dress. That's actually not a bad picture. But I think Banshee, it reminds me of Eratus, Lord of the Dead. But I like that picture. Got the long fingernails, the bony fingers. Not bad. Yes, I agree with that. Yep. Up. Weapon, long and sharp fingernails. You should be able to use it from Google Image. If you don't claim it's your work. Pretty much. Now, whenever they elect to start paying us for our works and contributions and things like that, or anything that they add into their game, when they start paying us for them, then they can start enforcing more rules. Funny how that works. But until then, they need to correct themselves. But many times you're either banned for that or your post is removed if you forget to mention it. And that's ridiculous. I would love to see one of them come into my chat or go into one of my posts that I post and do something like that. It would be a cold day in hell for them. I ain't just gonna sit there and be like, oops, sorry. Like, nah, I'm gonna get a hold of somebody from behavior and I'm gonna make sure whoever it is knows that they fucked up. I will get a lawyer and I will put the fear of God into them so they don't fuck with me again. That's how deep I'll go. Like, dude, don't mess with Q. I have friends that are lawyers, and I also know like super, super high attorneys. I'm talking about the attorneys that I know have sued the courthouse multiple times for making dumb things and have won. He walks into the courthouse, snaps his fingers, and they do whatever they want, or that he want, or they do whatever he wants them to do. Essentially, there aren't any cases. They do everything by the book. There's no corruption. There's none of that. He walks in, the judge starts getting hot and heavy and all of that. He just goes, and the judge calms down type shit. Like he's like a mafia or something. He has sued them into the ground, and they've lost a lot of money for it. He is that good of a lawyer. One of the best. When he walks into the room, the judge sweats a little bit type stuff. I'm like, behavior. Please, test me. Please. I would love to get rich. Please test me. All right. Killer abilities. Cacophony. Your drum-piercing scream reveals the survivor's locations within 32 meters of you. Press and hold the active ability button to perform cacophony. The cacophony is used after 2 seconds charge in which the killer cannot move. Oh. Cacophony has 60 seconds cooldown. Survivors within the cacophony range suffers from the death status effect, like in the Hag add-on case, and their sound is reduced. The death status effect lasts 12 seconds. The only question that I have for you. Okay, skip that minute to be live. Cool. The only question that I have to you at this point in time is, how long does the aura reveal last? Also, all right. So essentially, if you scream at anybody's in your tear radius, their aura gets revealed. The 2 seconds charge sounds cool, especially paired with the fact that the killer can't move during that time. So even if you are near a survivor, that still gives them 8 meters to where they can go, or 8 meters plus, however long it takes you to find them and head in that direction. To escape, which seems just fine. 60-second cooldown. That seems fine as well. As I mean, it is sort of like a radar, but it's a limited distance radar. And essentially, you'll be using it as you come up to generators, or if you're in chase and lose the chase or something like that. Similar to the Doctor, except for set to just 60 seconds. Also giving them the death status effect on the survivor. I actually don't know what the Hag add-on that adds the death status effect does. At least not off the top of my head. I understand that the sound is reduced, but I'm gonna assume it's sort of like the knockout effect, kind of like the concussion effect, where you really can't hear what's going on. Yes, I also didn't know before. Yeah, me either. I'm actually curious. Disfigured ear. Reading the phantasm trap causes the survivor to be deafened for 6 seconds. Oh, so they just can't hear anything for, holy crap. Or holy crow. Holy cow. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Disfigured ear. Dead by daylight. Jesus Christ, this guy's a dickhead.
Yeah. in the locker. Trap. So if I stand still. How to heal, by the way. How to TTT. All edit probably. Dude, there we go.
Oh, there was one.
Oh my. Really throw that ballot. Nice power. Oh, she's back. Fuck.
No. That's not it, even though he said that. Try this one. The body was blessed.
So every day, is going to be a shit killer, and the
He's running deafening ear. I need somebody that's going up against it. But this one. There we go. Oh my. That's insane. It's like a flashbang going off. Jesus. I had my headphones turned up for that, and that's crazy. Gotcha. And the death effect lasts 12 seconds. That's gonna be absolutely terrifying. You can still hear the chase music and all of that going through though, but yeah, you can definitely confuse a survivor and things like that when it comes down to hit my mic. That particular status effect. And you know what? Despite that being the thing, I don't think in that status website that I looked through even had any mentions of that deafness status effect. That's interesting. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Ghostly apparition. You create a ghostly image of yourself that flies towards the destined location. You can use ghostly apparition by pressing the power button. You can teleport to it by pressing the power button again. So, are we talking like crows? Like when you can summon crow, shoot crow, except that you can teleport to that particular thing? Now, the last 3 days, 4 days, something like that, I went over a lot of concepts that had this particular mechanic in it. You know, Critty made one, you made one, and I did one yesterday that had to do with that. It's the image of a killer. Gotcha. Let's see. Ghostly apparition doesn't have a tear radius, but instead makes a sound that can be heard within 24 meters of it. Ah. The cacophony makes ghostly apparition unable to be heard. Gotcha. Ghostly apparition starts moving after 3 seconds. Noted. Ghostly apparition has your killer movement speed. Oh, really? Ghostly apparition lasts 12 seconds and after disappearing has 4 seconds cooldown. Ghostly apparition can go through walls and objects. That's the important thing. So it moves at 4.6 meters per second, but can go through walls and objects, and you can teleport to it. So this is actually a pretty interesting method of going through walls that isn't going to leave you stuck in a particular wall or object. I actually like a rendition like that. Yeah, it's the image, not the real killer. Gotcha. Because if you have your apparition run forward like that, and with that delay, it keeps you from essentially doing the spirit thing and then just popping up on the other side. It'll also stop you from getting stuck in walls, because if you try to teleport while it's in a wall, obviously there'll be a barrier around everything. It won't allow you to teleport. So if you really needed to get to the other side of a wall quickly, you could just use that power, spam the button, and when you're allowed to go through, you'll just pop into the other side. So that's interesting. Now I'm going to assume that you can see the ghostly apparition after it goes through walls and things like that. So you'll be able to actively track it. If not, you can always make it to where you can't, like, regular nurse teleport without the add-on, and just add an add-on that allows you to track it as it's going through walls. Maybe with add-ons it could go a little different. So what I always recommend is just have it do its basic functions, and then with add-ons make it become different. But I don't want to go to that. Fair enough. I should mention it. Interesting. If the killer after teleportation, the ghostly apparition is inside terrain, for example rocks, or an in-game object, for example walls, the killer suffers from fatigue status effect for 4 seconds. He can pass through the objects after that time to avoid being stuck. The survivor will go past the ghostly apparition. He will scream, which will reveal his location. I'm going to assume that's just a regular scream, like a doctor scream, where it reveals their location for a moment and then goes away. Um, I mean, this is good future proofing just in case you do end up inside of a rock. That behavior would definitely just apply a barrier that you can't zone yourself inside of something. It is good to have that there, though, just in case you do find yourself inside of a rock. It doesn't just trap you there forever like Pinhead got stuck back in the public test beta, which was hilarious. So that clause is good to have there. Since we have been talking about using the tools of the server, I guess I should say something very minor. Don't have to do, just minor for anybody else watching this in the future. Very nice layout. The power has a very emboldened and different text. Everything is spaced away, as you can see, is spaced away here. So I can see the differences between this particular power, this particular power. Very emboldened. Even put a colon at the end of it. Goes through, writes everything that you need to press for the power button. Keeps it nice and tight and easy to understand. Goes through, starts explaining things. Everything that's explained is separated. Notice how he talks about the tear radius and everything here and how it can't be heard. Skips to another line completely. It shows that it starts moving. Shows another line, movement, speed, and things like that. Goes to another line to say it can go through walls and objects. This is a very nice format. If anybody wants to know how to format their powers and killers and things like that, that's a format you want to follow. The only thing that I would change if I was going like, presentation to behavior, I would make this particular last line italicized because it's not, this is just foolproofing. This technically can be ignored. This is just kind of, if he gets caught in terrain, you can get out of terrain, kind of like just a notice on the side. I would just italicize this if I was to be presenting this in a professional manner to either a board or behavior or something like that. So they know that, hey, the top, is the crux of everything. And this is just kind of a notice just in case something happens. This is very well made. You ain't got to italicize it, by the way. I'm just going over everything fully like I usually do. It's fine how it is. But I did a review either yesterday or the day before, and the guy put all of this into essentially one sentence, and it was a pain to pull everything apart because I didn't know where one sentence started and one sentence ended. It made me not even want to do the rest of his project because I had to essentially swim through his entire concept to try to find what I was looking for. It was very bad. This is easy to find out, easy to look through, easy to get information. If I need to scroll back up and find some information that I forgot about this particular effect, I can just scroll up and find it easily and read whatever I need to read and scroll back down. I love this. So we have a deafening scream and a apparition that you can send forward. Well, you can start after 3 seconds, moves forward, then you can teleport to it. I do like how you incorporated a delay, so you're not just instantly sending things through and popping in on people, nothing personnel kid appears behind somebody, slaps them. And I do like the how both powers interact with each other. It's more comfortable to read text like this. The length of the sentence won't overwhelm you. Exactly. Exactly. It's almost like you went through college or something. Weird, right? Yeah, nothing personal, kid. Yup. Exactly. Ah, I actually finished university. Ah, I knew you were towards the end. I didn't know you just straight up finished it. Nice. And you went to university, not even college. Impressive. That's why I went to dental high school. But I'm changing my profession. That's why I went to dental hygiene school. Jesus. Very impressive. Very impressive indeed. At least you figured out that you wanted to change things and you actually made the move to change things instead of did things the American way. The American way is to hate your job, put in about 30% of your work and just go and get paychecks. Don't matter if you're doing top quality work or if you're screwing people over or whatever. Just do it because, well, you have no other choice to do it now because you've put time into it and they don't care about being happy working. They just care about working. And it's sad to see how many people are unsatisfied with their jobs or working conditions. So it is a breath of fresh air to meet somebody like you that's actually take action in their life. Well, I worked for almost a year in some kind of office, but the COVID started. Yeah, I can't say that. I can't say that it hit us unexpectedly, because I mean, it really was right in the timeline of a new disease to pop up. Like every 100 years, you seem to, or we seem to, pull out a random disease that we have to fight. Some are quickly taken care of, some aren't. They refused to extend my working contract, so I decided to learn a profession. But you know, they say always have a plan B and C, just in case. That's what you did. You felt or you followed through on it. That could even help me get a job in another country. Oh man, you're playing 5D chess here. Okay. So you ain't even talking about different areas. You're talking about, you can go wherever you want and work. Very smart man. Gotcha, gotcha. He has that job security locked down. Oh, well, you don't want me here? Okay, I'll just go to the next country over. They'll use me. They'll pay me more too. Thank you, mate. Trying my best, but with different results. That's all you can do at the end of the day. Just try your best. If you try your best and fail, you've learned experience. If you half-assed it and failed, you've wasted your time. Somebody at some year. Let's hop into perks. Hex abandonment. When survivor stops repairing generator, cleanse a totem, search your chest, or open a gate, before it fully finishes the action, they are blocked for 30 seconds. Hex totems cannot be blocked, as well as family souvenirs perk that will be below. Survivor stops repairing a generator, cleansing a totem, searching a chest, or opening a gate before fully finishes, they are blocked for 30 seconds. That is very good for the exit gates. Oh, that is terrifying. That's good for generators too. Oh my lord. Stops repairing a generator. You have to wait 30 seconds, then exit gate. If it will survive the purge of totems. True. It's kind of like caught you off guard perk too, like NOAD. So unless it specifically alerts the survivor saying that this hex is in effect, then this is terrifying in game. You can also counter killer with Pop Goes the Weasel. Or ruin, since it won't regress. Oh my. Um, is Pop stun 30 seconds? Ooh. Who's the 45. Thank you. I don't have to look that up now. So yeah, by the time you get to a particular generator and chase the survivor off, definitely won't have enough time. So yeah, I agree. It will counter pop in most cases. Ruin, I mean, yeah, it counters all of that. Well, it definitely counters pop. Ruin, I mean, generators don't regress while they're blocked anyway. So, but I mean, it does give you 30 seconds worth of time where survivors can't access particular generators. So, you're trading 15% of regression speed for 30 seconds of generator block. So I think it's worth that exchange. Pop can't really do anything then, huh? It's kind of just decked. So yeah, pop is completely hard block. Ruin, at least you're still getting value, and if the survivor doesn't return after that 30 seconds, you start regressing more percentages off of it after it's unblocked. So Ruin kind of loses efficiency in the regression, but you are getting 30 seconds of them not being able to change the state of the generator. So you could technically run Ruin with it and not have that much of a thing. The only thing that I would add in is a triggering factor to where survivors will know that the perk is actually active. Because this is a very strong perk, beginning game, mid game, and end game. So I think the survivors earn the right to have some sort of triggering effect, like Devourer of Hope triggering once you get to the third totem, I think it is, when you get the exposed status effect, Devourer of Hope triggers, and you know that they have it. No ad triggers when they get hit and things like that. That was just revealed by nature, like always being revealed as being there. So if it stays revealed at all times, or if it has a trigger added on it, you know, the first time it happens, like Ruin reveals afterwards, I can agree with this part because, like Ruin and everything else, they now know that, hey, if I let go of this generator before it finishes, I can't come back to this within the next 30 seconds. If I can recommend you something, then it would be the Survivor lore. You know. So I would say, yeah, as long as the survivors know that they're gonna have to look for a totem throughout the match, I could say that that'd work. Only thing that is missing is obviously a cooldown, though. If I walk over and I touch a generator and the killer's camping it and I work on it for a little bit and killer comes back through, I'm gonna be mighty upset if every time I let go because the killer just keeps camping this generator. I have to wait 30 seconds before I can go back through it. So, particularly 3-gen situations, this perk needs to be counterable with a cooldown added to it. So the survivor can't just force survivors off of every single generator as he's going through and then chasing survivors because he knows that the generators can't be worked on because they let go of the generators. So having this effect either activate with cooldown, a decent cooldown, or make it to where it's a token and activates like a token hex perk or something like that. I would 100% agree with it, but at least still a cooldown at the bare minimum is added in. I'm at about 75% agreement. And that's really the only problem that I have with it is regen situations or in-game situations where gens are within running distance of each other. Is you have maps like Midwich and Leroy Memorial and things like that that have some very sick, nasty 3 gens if you do them right. At Coldwind Farm, that's another one. You can get a very nasty 3 gen to where you can just gen patrol and keep survivors from staying on them. Negligence. All survivors gain 100% healing debuff after the exit gates have been powered up. Smart. It doesn't mean a survivor with self-care can't heal himself anymore. He can, but it takes a longer amount of time. It'll take 64 seconds. The good thing self-care has kind of been thrown out, huh? I actually agree with that. Because if survivors want to stand at the exit gates, because generally they'll 99% them until they're forced out anyway. But yes, if a survivor wants to stand at an exit gate and heal up and try to use that safety net of being able to escape, I do agree that there should be some sort of penalty while doing that. I would even go as far as to say that all survivors gain a 100% healing debuff when exit gates have been powered up, and they're unable to heal when standing inside of the exit gate. To kind of be sort of like an anti-toxic perk and just go all the way in. So survivors, if you do want to stand out there and heal and take that extra time, you actually have to put yourself out in a dangerous position to where the killer can swoop you and or get you before you can escape. Because I really dislike the fact that survivors, at the end of the match, no ad will be active or something like that will be active. And survivors, instead of looking for totems and doing things with their lives, they'll just be standing at the exit gate waiting to get knocked out. I'm like, at least get the killer's attention or something so somebody can get the hook. Like, don't just stand there waiting. Do something with your life, bro. I like this part. Because even if a survivor heals another survivor, it'd still take 32 seconds. And if there's multiple survivors, two healing one, it'll still take 16 seconds. That is significantly longer. I love this perk. Family souvenirs. You create 4 new yep, that. You do that. You create 4 new objectives that are needed to be cleared in order for survivors to power the gate. These objectives are special chests. Each one of them takes 8 seconds to be cleared. They can be heard within 24 meters. This is where that idea came from. That guy from yesterday or the day before looked at your perk here and then tried to take it on his own. He tried to change the objective and tried to make it his own. It was a risky perk to make. but I made that risk. Tired to balance, or tried to balance this. Maybe a little tired with a fellow. Yeah, he tried to steal your perk, and instead of making it special chest and all that, he made it totems. And we ragged on this dude. It was bad. The whole, like, there's a whole list of just comments, just ragged. He just essentially changed the chest that you made and changed the chest and the totems. It was one I did yesterday. Actually, I can come back to that. Which one was it? Literally was just yesterday. I gotta think about this. This one? Yeah, this one. X trump card. I did this yesterday. Me and Critty was talking about it. And anytime somebody said anything to him, he immediately retorted. As Pazinik Fox, somebody said something, he argued back. Somebody said something, he argued back. Somebody said something, he argued back. He argued back. Somebody said something, he argues back. And it's just the same thing over and over and over. And instead of taking people's advice, he just kept arguing and arguing and arguing. All of that happened yesterday, January 1st. So, yeah, I did this yesterday. It was a fairly long and boring live stream. I don't suggest looking at that one, by the way. But yeah, Hex Trump card. That's that post. It was very long and boring. Like don't don't waste your time going back. If you do, pick parts. Yours actually has a little bit of thought put into it. His, now I understand why his didn't have enough detail, effort, or thought put into it, because he was trying to essentially make a generic perk that you already incorporated. Yeah, I know, right? He stole it and he didn't even think about it. He didn't even balance it. And we were just like, bro, if you light up every perk in the map and survivors have to clear every single perk in the map, or totem in the map, why don't the killer just stand in front of one and prevent survivors from ever escaping? And as we kept bringing up things to him, he kept BSing his way. Well, how about this? How about that? How about that? And I'm like, bro, it's like, stop arguing with people. We'll take all the comments that are being said to you and then go back to the drawing board. There's no need to fight and retort to every single constructive criticism. Sometimes I can find devour hope, even if I only try to find it. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing that he says. On your way to generators, you should just be able to stop and break hex totems on your way from gen to gen, from gen to gen. It's not going to increase the long or the length of the game that long. Just break a totem on your way from gen to gen. You should see it. They're open and out in the, or they're out in the open and easy to find. And I was like, bro, what? Hey, the bots are here today. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Today's kind of a special day, but you can go in the timeout though. Alright. 8 seconds to be clear. They can be heard within 24 meter. The killer doesn't see their location. Love it. When the killer puts a trap near this objective, it teleports to another objective. Love it. After all generators have been finished, all survivors can see the auras of those chests. If there is only one survivor left, the chests disappear. Love it. Poor bot. He's only in timeout. He'll be back in 5 minutes. Hey, Critty. You remember that guys thing, that hex, whatever it was that we did with the totems to end the game? He stole it from Galenonum's post. Galenonum had something that had to do with chess. That's where he got that idea from. That's why there wasn't any detail put into that particular concept or that particular perk and things like that. So now I know where it came from and why it was so bad. Yeah, trump card. Yeah. Galenonum says, hello, Critty. This is very well balanced. Killer cannot see chest. If killer tries to trap the objective, it teleports. When there is no survivor within 4 meters of it for 45 seconds, after the last gen is done, it teleports to a different location. After all generators have been finished, all survivors can see the auras of these chests, and if there's one survivor left, the chest disappears. And there's only 4 chests, so there's 4 survivors. The only thing that I would personally consider changing is making it 3 chests, so that it's a flow experience. Whatever survivors being chased by said killer can continue to run the killer, while the other 3 can go through to each individual chest or wherever and get those chests knocked out while the killer's still in chase. And if that particular survivor that's looping the killer goes down, another survivor who is either running towards the chest or whatever, if they haven't finished the chest or elect not to go directly to the chest and goes for the unhook, it's not completely stopping the game. Because the 2 doing the other chest can switch over and do the other 2 chests, while the other survivors messing with the killer and getting on hooks and things like that. Just for a continuous flow of the game. And they don't have to, the 3 of them, take out chests, and then one will have to go to the chest and the other 2 will have to go to the exit gates, while the other one hopefully is still looping. It doesn't potentially extend the game farther than it needs to be extended. But I mean, that's just something to consider. 4 is just fine. I mean, there's a way to get around 4 chests. That's why you wanted me to look at the survivor lore. Wintez Turner QTASTIC. I actually didn't think of that. Yep. Hopefully that's what I'm here for. Wintez is searching for an idea for a YouTube channel. Decided to search and explore buildings declared as haunted. It was a bullseye. His channel has grown at an incredible rate, and the suggestions for the next object for a video never stopped. One day, he heard of a haunted house in a small town in eastern England from the comments section of suggestions. It greatly piqued his interest. He booked his flight from America and went to the United Kingdom. He posted a video from his flight and pumped up his fans. They couldn't wait for his next video. By the time has passed, some of them still waiting, and just got adopted into the entity. Now he's Survivor talking shit about how unbalanced this goddamn game is. Entity, fix your shit. I'm tired of getting sacrificed. Your killer's too overpowered, god dang it. Actually funny. Oh man, I can just picture it. Oh my god. That's actually hilarious. I appreciate it though. That's actually pretty spot on. uh, just recorded. After being put to the injured state by the killer, just recorded activates. When this perk is active, you can create in the locker a recording device that will mimic your grunts of pain. Oh. This device can be dropped like a flashbang and lasts 15 seconds. After dropping this item, your grunts of pain are reduced by 100%. After creating recording device, this perk is disabled for 60 seconds. So instead of that rock that the game has that you can crouch and throw, putting down a sound making device. Interesting. Hmm. Well, I guess all I can do is say well done. I mean, you've successfully added another item to the game. I don't know. I got you here, Critty. How you feeling? 15 seconds of grunts of pain. If you put that in the right spot, you could drive the killer absolutely psycho. Because I'm always complaining about the fact that this game doesn't have, like a sensitivity adjustment where people can turn their sensitivity up high, do a lunge attack, and just swipe their mouse and hit a large arcing area. Survivor sensitivity, they can see everything and everywhere at every time because their sensitivities are crazy. And then there's the obvious sound problem of everybody wanting to run headphones turned up high. So this is kind of a temporary pseudo fix for one of the problems that I've brought up a lot. Let's see, I haven't changed quick thinking link to 234. I'll keep that in mind from 2, 3, and 4. It's really interesting, man. I think though being made the same way of flashing is might cause a few problems. I don't know. They're in public test beta. Leon's flashbang was broken, like it didn't work at all. Which I mean, it's questionable if it works nowadays. So if you do have a flashbang in this perk popping up, I'd assume you get, well, yeah, I'd assume one would drop on the ground and you would hold one. But I'm also thinking on the same hand, why would you why would you want to run a recorder and a flashbang at the same time? Kind of weird having two items that do that, but it is what it is. That's what I was thinking, just have one drop on the ground. Whatever's in the, I guess, the furthest most left perk slot stays in your hand. I actually thought of a way that would let these work. I added it in my other perk if you have this perk ready and the flashbang ready. You could always make the one most to the left. Yeah, what you said, making the one most to the left work. Have a random one drop to the ground could work. I don't know how it could be bugged if you drop it though. Yeah, if one drops to the ground, I don't think there should be any type of issue. I mean, when somebody exits trial, the items drop. They get sacrificed, items drop. Ah, that is right. You did make the one with the cartoony style banana peel oil extraction. Well, I mean, obviously, behavior is going to have to make the animation to where it doesn't pop in until after you jump out of the locker. You just automatically drop it. I could see somebody glitching it to exploit it to carry two items, though. True. But I mean, if they can't manage to program in a simple animation of your survivor jumping out of a locker and then immediately the item falling out with it too, that's they need to hire somebody else. They can also just have the item stay in the particular locker and have its ore revealed to nearby survivors. So you can store, you know, 20, 30 of them in there, and as a survivor walks in, they'll open up the locker, grab the item that's inside, or just have the item added to their inventory, so just in case they're being chased. So when they jump in the particular locker, the item gets added into their inventory automatically if they have room, and then they can just hop back out and go on doing their other survivor-y things. Storing items in locker could be really cool, actually. Who would have thought that using a locker for what it actually is would work, right? So that would technically get rid of any type of potential for bugs if the item just stayed in the locker and you just kept whatever one you had on the left most slot. It's actually kind of funny how Dead by Daylight for the killers, it's just kind of like their workers there grabbing their gear. And then for survivors, they're like the kids hiding in lockers and stuff and never actually storing anything in it. How did they miss that concept of survivors storing things? No, you have to go in the locker and craft it. It's not like the entity couldn't just put a flashbang there for you that you could just pick up as a reward. I don't know. It's just kind of goofy. I don't know. Well, there's some suggestions for that perk if we're actually worried about it. There's a workaround for it, so I'm not going to go into super critical about thinking about that. Imagine storing multiple flashbangs and if the killer will open the lock. Oh god. Just do 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 do. It would be a unique way to trap lockers. Because I mean, you know, that's a perk idea for the future. Trap lockers or storing multiple items in a locker that'll kaboom. That'd be hilarious. Old Forest Simulator, like, nah, I'm done with this game. Now, getting the actual trap's going to be rather difficult. It'll probably have to be like gen related, so people who are running gank squats and things like that have to at least do generators to get the item to trap the locker, but you know, very interesting. There also didn't have to be like a timed activation too. Like head on has like the 3 second activation, so you're gonna have to actually make the trap and set the trap too. So you can't just jump into a locker and then the killer follow you into it and you blind them essentially. Very big balancing act. Thinking. After a friendly survivor is down within your terror radius, you gain the haste effect, 10% for 3 seconds. 10% brings you up to 4.4, so you will be equal or just under a another killer. Fair enough. I can agree with the 10% haste. So if it's a range killer, they can still hit you with range, and if it's a regular mouse 1 killer, they're still faster than you are. See, this is how you can tell things are thought through. And it feels so refreshing not to do all of that. And it's also 3, 4, and 5 seconds. Or did you say 4, 5, and 6 seconds? What would you say the scaling for that was? I don't remember. Let me scroll up. 2, 3, and 4 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, quick thinking, simple, easy to get through. Balanced the way a range killer can still clap you, and then a mouse 1 killer can still catch you. Fair enough. Now, the only question I have is the wording after a friendly survivor is down within your killer terrorities. Are you trying to call me a killer? I thought we were friends. No, but it does seem like it's worded to say that I have a particular terror radius. Instead of saying if a friendly survivor is down within the killer's terror radius, you gain haste. Easy flashlights. Oh no. But no, this perk's fine. It's been thought out and all of that. And then fan base. Okay, this perk didn't win so. Yeah. Yeah. Things like that tend to happen when you actually think about your when you're thinking about a lot of different things at once. I will admit it, I even thought 10%'s too weak. I remember. But I'm glad I got it right the first time. Yeah, it's completely fine with 10%. I'm actually surprised more things aren't 10% haste. Well, I guess more things are also stacking, like spine chill and things like that. But, you know. But no, I would say quick thinking was well thought through the first time. 10%'s more than enough. No problems indeed. At least no problems that I can see. Uh, Fan base. When you and other survivors rescue each other from the hook, this perk is activated. Interesting. Whenever one of you is hooked, the other one gains 10% action speeds for opening the gate, searching chest, healing, unhooking. So essentially just all action speeds. Gotcha. The effect lasts for 10 seconds. So anytime a survivor is rescued for the hook, so you could get a maximum of 90 seconds of 10% action speeds. So essentially an entire gen, which will save you 8 seconds generator wise. And since we're going on hook rescues, you're going to be assuming that nobody's going to actually be in chase. So, which you don't necessarily mention vaulting speed or anything like that too. So vaulting speed doesn't seem to be an issue. Healing wise, you're saving 1.6 seconds. Unhooking is huge, that 10% unhooking speed. But I mean, the perk is also based off of unhooking speed, so unless you're going for multiple unhooks in one time, like in basement or something like that, that's not going to really be a factor in that. So it kind of is counter Bubba in the basement. You can at least unhook faster and go down faster, that chainsaw. But cleansing the totem, you'll save 1.5 seconds on that. Well, no, you're not even going to save the entire 1.5 seconds because it only lasts for 10 seconds. So you'd actually save a little bit less than 1.5. But like I always said, every particular survivor and or killer generally has that one meh perk. It's not extremely good or overpowered, but it's not bad at all. It's just kind of a buffer. And the only reason I agree with that is because it doesn't have anything saying vault speeds. It specifically is just opening gates and things like that. You're not saving a huge amount of time on them. And somebody has to be on the hook to get like the opening gate speed and everything like that to get those bonuses. I tried to make it mediocre. Yeah. Definitely, especially making it a survivor has to be on the hook for that. Because after all, you are doing all things faster, which makes sense. A lot of times when I'm going over concepts for people, they want to make it to where you get, a huge amount of speed increase for a long amount of time. And I'm like, bruh. And they add everything in from opening or exit gates to vaulting, the gens and everything. And I have to go back and say, with this much speed, you're turning medium vaults into fast vaults, essentially, or running vaults. Fast vaults, same thing. And I have to go through that whole list of things that I usually do. But this isn't too bad. Very well thought through. This is what we like to see, bangers. And then I read these at the beginning. Well made, well made. I like the Banshee. And the way she's depicted here, she's very creepy looking, like the hag and the maid, or the hag and the nurse, not the maid, the nurse. She sort of fits into that build. Yeah, the scream to the teleporting ability, perks. Also added on Reddit, but my post was removed due to the image. Ain't that a that is amazing. Maybe that's where that admin's from. Maybe she's from Reddit and she's just following through on somebody to, I guess, talk trash to her, and she overstepped her bounds by doing that. Going from Reddit all the way to here just to keep knocking one particular guy down. That's crazy. How are you gonna just straight up remove somebody's post from Reddit? Reddit is full of copyrighted material. What do you think a meme is? Memes are somebody's material and things like that. Yeah, as long as you're not claiming somebody else's work as yours or making any type of profit or anything like that, it's not even copyright. It's when you start making money off of it or offering a service that involves that particular thing. That's when you need to worry about copywriting. I know I forgot to mention it, and usually I forget new things, but I expected, yeah, a warning instead of just deleting it, and you would have added it. That's what I said earlier about the other post that I was looking at, is the fact that is the fact that they didn't even warn him. She could have just came through and said, "Hey, you need to credit the author," and he would have done it. Give him like a day or so to get it done, for 12 hours or something, a good amount of time to get the artist credited, and then sent it on its way. Would have been fun. It was literally just a picture of Ghostface that people found cool. He didn't do it for money. He didn't say it was his. He didn't say anything like that. And the post just got absolutely just yanked. Literal post. Just some ghosty boy. Ghosty boy. Never said it was his art. He just said just some ghosty boy art. Or gossy boy art. Are you the artist of this work? No, but I thought I would share it. Immediately removed. Copyrights aren't even that big of a deal. The only way copyright comes into, yeah, especially YouTube laws, but the only way copyright comes into effect is if you're doing something for profit. That's it. If you're doing something for a profit, that's where copyright comes in and will smite you. If you're taking some random artist's picture and you're showing it to everybody, that's just free publicity to them. Somebody says, "Hey, I like that picture. Where'd you get it from?" You say, "Oh, I got it from this guy." You just put their name out there. Now, if you're like, "Oh, well, I drew it," then that's a different story. That's copywriting. That's saying that it's you own the rights to this particular, thing. Because you're saying that you're the one that drew it when you actually didn't. That's stealing ideas. That's copywriting. But I mean, art-wise, it's not even copywriting somebody's art unless they got to go through a what the hell is the process called? One, they have to watermark it or sign it. What's the process called that they go through? I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up. I can't remember it. But yeah, the copyright art, there's something that you have to do. How to copyright art. There you go. Go to the Library of Congress website and click on the Electronic Copyright Office, fill out the registration form, and pay the required fee. Once the register office examines your application, they will send you an official certificate of registration. That is how you officially copyright any type of art where it cannot be used. Now, there are automatically copyrights. However, there is something that you have to do. When you first create an art, it is protected from somebody else stealing it as their own. But in order for you to copyright your art, to where you didn't, take things down and things like that, you have to go through the official process, or you are not completely protected from copyright laws. People don't understand that. If you make a banger of an artwork and somebody steals that artwork and sells it as their own, yeah, you have to be able to prove that it was originally your artwork, or that nobody's going to believe you and nobody's going to legally follow suit. And that's what I went over earlier, that she's kind of breaking the law by doing that and doing things like that. Or going in and asking him if that was his art and everything like that, and the copyrights and other issues. But, yeah. That was my last perk ideas. I will create a chapter. Maybe I will start it next week. I'll have to watch your video again to hear your balance suggestions. Well, I appreciate it. Most of my videos nowadays haven't been too amazing, especially around this time where the creative juices have stopped. People are just posting things to post things around this time. Hopefully when things kick back up, oh, excuse me, and people start creating different things and putting effort into it, I'll be able to pull out some actual bangers. Critty, are you still here? My OBS says only one person's watching, and I'm talking to him. 'Cause if he ain't here, I'll just go over his concept next time. Devs don't support this creation part of forum, so no wonder it's getting less popular. It's not that they're not supporting it or anything like that. It's that they're not, well, they're not giving credit to the people's idea that they're taking things from. It's actually that simple. And it's kind of hypocritical. Yeah, it's kind of hypocritical of them, because the perks, like the artist's perks and things like that, all come from previously mentioned ideas. When they started development, they pulled ideas from this particular creation forum. When the ring comes out, some of her perks, or probably perks, maybe even her power or something like this, is going to be pulled for somebody else's idea that's already previously posted. But they don't want to pay people for their ideas, and they don't want to credit them for their ideas, because that could lead to, them actually have to paying people money because they're using their ideas for profit. So it's very hypocritical of them to smite somebody's post for having art that's listed that isn't given credit to the author, but they can pull ideas from this creation forum and add it into their game without letting people know that, hey, this person's the one that came up with this. So I just find it funny nowadays, and all because one of their admins couldn't shut up and let things go. What could be nice, it would be a small reward for the creator. Yeah, just give them, like a special cosmetic, a little bit of shards, coins, something like that. I'd give them a special cosmetic, that behavior designed themselves, like just a creation, a shirt or something like that. So people will know that, hey, this person actively, post on the creation forum, and they're idea got added into the game. Then when you're playing games and people ask you, where'd you get that shirt? You say, hey, I submitted an idea and, they liked it. They used it. One of my ideas is part of the game. And you have a little bit of clout and things like that from it. Yeah, something like that. People like specials. Yeah. I mean, they gave, Delirious his own mask for the Trapper, Homewrecker, his own face for the Wraith. Why not give the actual creators, the people that's putting in, manpower to come up with these unique perks and ideas and all of that? Why not give us, cosmetics and things like that that you're giving other people? But, you ain't pushing money for them, you ain't getting things. I guess we lost Critty, so I will probably go over his concept tomorrow when he comes back. He did warn me, though. So, there's that. See, this is nice. I made a chapter idea, still in work, but this is the card for the killer. Hope you like it. See, I like that. Work in progress. That's all you gotta put at the end of your thing, showing that it's a work in progress. You ain't gotta do anything crazy. That's nice. I'm not gonna read any of that, because that's gonna be subject to change, but look at that. That's beautiful. If anybody helps you, though, you might want to add credit. If you don't add credit to something and they find anything similar to it, they're gonna take it down. That's very nice looking. I actually like that. Mm, I put patch 5.5.0. What? Do I want to click on this? Patch 5.5.0 mid-chapter new survivor fan made. None of this is relevant to anything. Why would you use DLC for Portrait of Murder 2? That's not how that works, Dead by Daylight wise. We're on the Portrait of Murder. That's the last DLC, I mean, to my knowledge, that was released. So why not just use Portrait of Murder and just keep it within everything else? There's no need to make a second chapter to add in a survivor. We're already there. Weird. But yeah, it's nice art. Yes, it is. Indeed. Um, I'm not gonna go over any of the lore. I am more interested in the perks. I do see here's window break, grabs knife in corner, stabs teenager in shoulder. Disappeared in dark fog. Apparently this dude stabbed a teenager or something and ended up getting abducted by the entity. It was the VAC label. They had sent out this teenager to kidnap or kill him, but now RJ is gone and is now confused. So he got headhunted by a teenager, stabbed said teenager, disappeared. Whoop. Or name it Painting of Homicide. Oh my god. Painting of his homicide. That was actually I'm not even gonna go into that. My personal opinions on that name. They're goofy. That's all I'm gonna say is they're goofy. Perks. Boon Resistance. this boon's range is across the map. When you are the last survivor alive and the killer has any sort of memento mori, you can completely deflect it. Deflect it, negate it, and heal yourself to the injured status effect. However, the totem that the boon is on gets cleansed and cannot be used ever again. That, my friend, is a very big no-no. Because of how the ranking system changed in Dead by Daylight, and it's your rank because or how well you do in the match determines your ranking, as opposed to the number of you escaping. This is a very big no-no. If you would have did this before that patch, I would have agreed with you. But no, afterwards, no. Go ahead, take the Mori. You're not going to derank because you get Mori'd. Killer's going to get points, match is going to end faster, a new game's going to start faster. No reason for this. Plus, it gets in the way of Rancor. It gets in the way of, you know, the iridescent offerings. It gets in the way of Judith's tombstone on Michael Myers. Things like that, where they have to actually work towards to get those Moris. At the end of the day, to get Mori'd, you have to be hooked 2 times to get Mori'd. Cutting out the Michael Myers thing, of course, and the Rancor. So, no. Negating somebody's hard work, I can't really necessarily believe in now. Last resort, starting the trial with 4, 5, and 6 tokens. While in a chase, convert a medium vault into a fast vault. After all tokens are gone, last resort activates. Didn't I just say, or just say I liked your particular perk that you put last time because you didn't include vault speed and make a medium vault go into a fast vault? Didn't I just say that? And this guy just went and did that. I literally just last post said, oh, I like that because it doesn't affect vault speed, turning medium vaults into fast vaults. Go to the next thing. Last resort. Medium vault to fast vault. Like, I can't make this up. Everybody just posts just the bad things over and over and over and over. 2, I don't believe you should, even if you wanted to implement this perk, and let's say we would run with it, you shouldn't start with the maximum number of tokens and just say, after 6 volts, it's done, useless, gone. You should make it to where you have to do a significant action, like, you know, do a generator, break a totem, anything like that to get these charges. To where where you are trading essentially a useful resource into Vault. As opposed to just getting something for free. I mean, if you want it for free, use live. Every, 60 seconds or so, you'll be able to vault the window and then immediately break into a sprint and continue on your way. You can run Spine Chill to get a very small amount of vault speed every time. Now, this perk isn't necessarily OP, and there's not a lot generally wrong with it except for the fact that you just start with full tokens. And then after you use said tokens, poof, it just disappears. It deactivates, it's gone. I don't know how to actually feel about this particular perk. I would rather see it with a, well, I mean, if we were going to implement it, I still say no to the implementation. But if we were to think about this logically and implement it, you would definitely want to have a cooldown on this and for this to be used throughout the match, not just a limited number of times. I mean, granted, well, you'll also want a cooldown on it too, because I mean, if you're literally just that bad at vaulting windows, or at least that negligent of your pathing in vaulting windows, I do think that you need to be punished and you shouldn't be able to do, essentially, use up 2 windows with all fast vaults if you don't know, the mechanics of the game. Because nobody's going to run this particular perk over something useful like Dead Hard or heck, even Lithe. They would pick Lithe over this part because it gives you the speed boost afterwards. Fast vaulting will keep you from being hit through the window, but it's not going to save you what happens afterwards. The killer going around and continue to chase you. So it's not very useful because the first chase that you get into, you're probably going to end up running this out. Possibly the second chase if you do like one window one time and then another window the other time. Possibly two. And then you've lost a perk slot. So, yeah, my last saying on it, it's not very useful. And it should definitely be a reusable perk that you have to do something to earn the right to turn to medium to a fast vault or earn the right to fix a mistake. Because if you know what you're doing and you're an iridescent survivor and you have these 6 tokens, they're just going to continue to do what they need to do. And if they run into that area or time to where they can't necessarily go for the fast vault, it's going to cover them. So that on an iridescent survivor is disgusting. But that on a lower to medium rank player ain't going to do anything for them. They're going to use those tokens up and they're going to continue on. In the eye, when the killer is stunned, see the aura of the most recently hooked survivor and the killer for 7 seconds. Why though? Who's the creator of this? Tuna DVD. Ah, that makes sense. I remember you. That makes sense. When the killer is stunned, see the aura of the most recently hooked survivor and of the killer for 7 seconds. What are you going to use that information for? I don't understand. Am I still on? Yeah, I'm still on. So the issue I have with this is the most recently hooked survivor, the aura of them, isn't going to matter. If they stun the particular killer as they're being chased, they're going to immediately light up like a Christmas tree, which isn't any good information for you. You know where the killer is at because they're running the killer. Again, you can run empathy and find out all of this information in detail, where that survivor is going, and you know the killer is going to be behind them, chasing them and things like that. I don't really see a place where you could actually get the value of that. I guess if you're running for an exit gate and they stun the killer, you now know that it's time to open the exit gate and to leave, but that's about it. I mean, Last resort sounds pretty powerful. Yeah, for an iridescent survivor, indeed. And Gritty says boon resistance is completely useless. Gritty, be nice. Jesus Christ. Last resort is cool, but I think it should start at 0 tokens with the way to gain tokens. Yeah, like what I just said. Through that way should be difficult. And the eye should probably have a cooldown of 60, 50, 40 seconds and show auras for only 5 seconds. Why can't you be nice, Critty? Jesus Christ. The boon resistance, the way to stop Moris from happening. I said my 2 cents on that. It's just an unnecessary extension of a game that doesn't matter, and it conflicts with a lot of different killer perks, add-ons, etc. Probably in a bad mood, but yeah. God dang. I do agree with you that it should start at 0 tokens and all of that, though. And in the eye is just not very useful. I wouldn't even add a cooldown or change the aura or any of that. I mean, I appreciate you giving them an idea for it, but I would just remove that perk completely. It's not useful. Even with balancing and all of that, I'd rework it, redo it, re-something it. But at least you took the time to help. Well, now that I have you here, I can go ahead and go over your concept, and after that, I can get off for the day. I get really blunt and all when not in a great mood. Well, god dang. We have chapter concept String Theory by Critical Fish. String Theory. Puppet? Ah, automaton. Gotcha. The automaton is a disorienting killer, able to break the mind of a survivor by slowly severing their connection to reality. Its personal perks allow it to snowball out of control when given just a moment of leeway. Appearance: a somewhat rusted humanoid robot covered in blood. Its weapon is a pair of scissors. Reading went straight anime, baby. Speed 115%. So it's base 4.6 meters per second. Tear radius 32 meters. Height average. Primary power: red string. From 25 to 30 plain mannequins spawn all across the map at the start of the trial. Oh no. If this is going where I think it's going, this is going to be terrifying. And small clusters of 2 to 4. The mannequins are holding a pair of scissors. They appear to be standing, though their posture makes it look like they're being held up by something that survivors can't see. The automaton, however, can see bright red strings connected to the mannequins. The automaton can also see these strings attached to survivors. Strings attached to certain joints and go upwards into the sky or the ceiling. The automaton can cut the strings holding the mannequins by holding the power button in a 3-second channel, taking 1 second to cut each string. After doing so, the automaton can see the aura of the mannequin in white, and the mannequin posture changes slightly to stand more upright, changing to the detached mannequin. Or changing it to a detached mannequin. Survivors that walk or run within 8 meters of a detached mannequin are marked by killer instinct. Okay, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I'm just gonna verify before I start saying anything. You have to be next to the particular mannequin to cut the string, right? You can't just select a mannequin from a distance and use some sort of power or anything to, at least as of now, you can't just use any power to cut the string from a distance. So if you do end up happen to walk over to the mannequin and snipping it to create that killer instinct and all of that from the detached mannequin. Only thing that I would like to see added is a time that this mannequin stays like that before it goes back up into its before the strings reattach and pull the mannequin back into its other position. Secondary power. Force detachment. Hitting a survivor with a basic attack will cut one red string connected to them, but increase their detachment state by one. I need to see something. Okay. I'm going to wait before I say anything. In a survivor, the basic tackle cut one string connected them, but increase their attachment state by one. Detachment states are marked by 25% of a red circle being filled around the survivor's portrait. So there's 4 strings attached to survivors. That's what I was going to ask. Around the survivor's portrait on the HUD for each detachment state gained, a survivor can go up to a maximum of 4 detachment states. At detachment state 1, survivors cannot hear the rattle of a mannequin as the automaton is teleporting to them. This is an aspect of tertiary power. Gotcha. At detachment state 2, survivors will see mannequins moving out of the corner of their field of view, but if they look towards the mannequins, they disappear. Survivors also suffer a 11% decrease in repair speeds. Why 11% though? 10% just makes it an even 8 seconds, but 11%, it'd be like what, 8.1 seconds? At detachment state 3, survivors will see the automaton as a plain mannequin instead of its actual design. Survivors also suffer a 22% decrease in cleansing speeds. A fourth of 15. So we were essentially adding like 4 seconds onto that, making it 19 seconds to cleanse. That's not too bad. I've been liking 11, 22, and 33 recently. Fair enough. At detachment state 4, survivors become oblivious, and all other survivors appear as plain mannequins. Survivors also suffer a 33% decrease in healing speeds. So you're looking at 21 seconds to heal instead of 16. Gotcha. Survivors lose one detachment state each time they unhook or heal another survivor. So, it's a minor thing to talk about. I ain't gonna worry about it. Survivors lose one detachment state each time they unhook or heal another survivor. A minor gripe that what I'd have in this particular state is detachment 4 decrease in healing speeds to 33%, and then having the detachment state decrease on a heal. Decreasing it on a heal, and then giving them the 33% decrease in healing speeds. If you stack this with other perks that are relevant in the game that slow down healing time and things like that, you can essentially make it to where, well, that and then stack on add-ons and things like that, you can make it take an extremely long amount of time to heal for a survivor, which would generally make it to where they can only get states back on unhooks, because it's not even going to be worth going for the particular heals at that particular or in that point. Not really. If they go up one detachment state on a basic attack, I'll definitely be a creepy killer. But I mean, if you think about it, if you hit that particular survivor twice and down them and hook them, and a survivor comes up and then pulls that particular survivor off the hook, and you tunnel them and hit them twice more, that survivor is going to be at state 4 that quick. Or if you down one survivor, hook them, they'll be at 2, and then you hit the other survivor that comes to unhook them after they unhook, so they don't get that, they're still clean. You can get 2 states on both of them. That'd be 2 downs, 2 at level 2, getting the decrease in repair speeds. So, I mean, depending on how you play it, you can spread the love out, and keep detachment rate 2. Or you can just tunnel people. Get those 2 quick downs and then leave that person to kind of rot. If you're running a bunch of heal perks and things like that, and they take the time to heal up to get rid of that detachment state and get that health state back, it's going to take a long amount of time keeping them off gens for a extremely long amount of time. Like, that person's gonna spend huge amounts of time with all of this stacking up. Wonder if I can find that website again. Killer. Well, no. At least don't start something out that says killer. Jesus Christ. DBD killer anti-heal perk chart. If I can find the chart that I looked at. No, that's 2018. That's not gonna work. No, I'm not gonna dig deep. There was a chart that I looked up one day that showed a huge, just it showed every single perk and the max amount of stacks of healing that you could reduce somebody to. And the self care, or a regular self care, ended up taking like 3 minutes to do. A regular heal ended up taking in upwards of like 80 or so seconds. They're essentially a generator amount of time to do. It's a little bit outdated, and some things have changed, like thatanophobia and things like that, but it's something to go off of to get a basic. I could probably find a YouTube video if I searched hard enough. But that's what I'm more worried about. You can either unhook a survivor, which only one survivor can do, to get rid of that detachment state. Heal wise, if all of them are healing together, they can all lose states that way. But I mean, that's big brain plays, and if it ain't a survive with friends, it's not gonna happen most times. So what I'm worried about is tunneling. Tunneling is coming from that, especially because teleportation is apparently a thing later on. So being able to teleport, tunnel, things like that to keep them at level 4, the double knockdowns, because after you knock them down, I mean, are they heal? Well, that's not necessarily true. You'll have most survivors at state 3. And most survivors will be stuck at state 3 for the majority of the game. So it's actually pretty hard to get them to state 4 if I look at it from a different perspective. I'm still not a big fan of the heal speed decrease when you have to heal to get rid of a state, but it would be very difficult to actually get somebody up to state 4. Yeah, killer would be creepy with all those mannequins, definitely. So I guess is what I'm saying is 33%. It's kind of rough. Maybe drop that to like 15 or 20%. Something that isn't just completely devastating to a particular survivor. 21, around about the 21-second healing time is abysmal. I don't think I could live life. Yeah, just kind of drop it to like 20%. That's not adding nothing but like what, 4 extra seconds. I mean, it's still kind of bad, but well, no, that wouldn't be 4 seconds because it'd be 16. 10% of 16 is 1.6. 1.6 and then 1.6 together would be 3.2. 3.2 seconds. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. 20, 25, maybe 25. I don't know. I don't know about 25, but 20 ain't bad. I don't know. You seem to have a decent grasp on balancing and things like that. I assume you did the math and the times to figure out how much extra time it'd be. I haven't went through the entire concept, so I mean my suggestions on this is subject to change. I'm just looking at it for what it is now. I haven't added in the tertiary power and perks and things like that on top of it. This is just base Q. Tertiary power is boundless. The automation, no, the automaton can teleport to a detached mannequin by looking at it and holding down the active ability button for 3 seconds. during which time the now I want to say automation, Jesus, the automaton slows to 3.8 meters per second. The mannequin the automaton is teleporting to is marked by red. Fair enough. During this time, the mannequin would begin to shake violently, making a loud rattling noise that can be heard from up to 24 meters away. Okay. Upon taking place of a mannequin, the automaton becomes undetectable for 10 seconds. Taking place of a mannequin results in a detached mannequin spawning where the automaton last was before teleporting. So it stays detached after you spawn over. So it's essentially like a Demogorgon portal, except for you can't place it wherever you want. You have to use a particular area. I guess it'd be more like a hag symbol, because you have to set it up, then teleport to it. Now, if you, I think teleporting or being able to teleport to something should have a consequence of the mannequin either being fully reset back to its standing position or partially reset. So where after you pop in, you have to spend a couple of more seconds to cut it back down if you want to use it again. As opposed to it just being just perfectly detached when you pop in. Demo portal, but RNG. Possible to remove. And big cooldown. This has a cooldown of 40 seconds, but is decreased by 5% per each attachment state, afflicting a survivor. So you'll have most survivors in attachment state 3. At least if you're playing the killer and you know you're going through getting things done, you should have most survivors at a detachment rate 3. So that's 5% per, going off of, it'll be a 45% reduction. So you're looking at somewhere in the 20s of seconds of cooldown, generally throughout most of that. I don't know, it's like what, 2 seconds per detachment state that it takes off. Somewhere around there. Gonna take a shower, be right back. Yeah, take your time, man. I may or may not be here. I think this might be the last one I do, so I might be gone. If I am gone, clean yourself, son. Get behind your ears and everything. And I'll see you next time. Don't drop the soap either. So yeah, 2 seconds per detachment state. It's not too terrible. Because even if you have 2 per on every survivor, that's a 16-second decrease. So you're looking, yeah, somewhere in the 20s to possibly 30 seconds. So around about 30-second cooldown after all of that at all times. So that's not too terrible of a cooldown. So when you teleport too, though, you get that, even though it's a violent shaking and all of that, you do get 10 seconds of being undetectable. So instead of making it just 3 seconds to detach one that you go back to, just make it like a second, to where you do have to turn around and snip if you want to reuse that teleport again. Or you could make it the 3 seconds to reset up said portal, or however you want to do it. But I don't think it's fair to survivors. Yeah, they're alerted to the noise of you teleporting, but oh, where you were. I just thought when you teleported in, that mannequin you were essentially taking the place of, and then another one was popping in. That's where you were teleporting from. Oh, last was before teleporting. How did I miss that? Gotcha. That makes sense. That's actually super OP as well. Anybody that goes basement, they're done. So your killer is more of a, at least I would assume, your killer is more of a camping style than an actual run around and gin patrol and everything like that. You're going to put your mannequin in places to where you can get back to and punish survivors for going for unhooks and things like that. Shouldn't have gone to the basement shaking my head. Hey, depending on the set of perks the killer's running, sometimes it's unavoidable. Or if there's a gin in Kill Shack and there's basement or main building, there's a gin there with basement. Sometimes it's unavoidable, man. I end up in basement. But yeah, trapping and stealth, definitely. I mean, makes sense. How everything's set up. Alright, well, leave everything as is then. As you, when it comes to trapping and things like that, speed and reactability is key. Since this particular killer doesn't have any type of ranged attack or anything like that, I could see it having a little bit of a buff in other places. What I thought you were gonna do was gonna do the old trope of as survivors are walking by mannequins, you'll have mannequins that you can potentially possess and either take over or swipe at survivors as they walk through. Almost like a trap that you could activate. That'd be scary as F. Imagine you're chasing a survivor on another side of the map and you have like a killer instinct or something go off on a mannequin across map. And as you're chasing a survivor, you zone into another mannequin temporarily. You slap them as survivor as they're running by, scaring the absolute piss out of them. And then you cancel and go back to your chase and continue chasing the other survivor. He's like, why are they just standing there for? And then a survivor takes a health state and they're like, oh shit. Yeah. That's just kind of what I was going off, or what I thought it was going to. Sort of like a puppet master type thing where the mannequins can all be controlled pseudo at once and do things. But I'm glad you went this way. This is very unique and different. I like things that are different. That'd be cool, though. Doesn't fit well with the idea I was basing this off of. It makes sense. I like this idea. I like things that are different than what I expect. Because generally, whatever I expect is what I get, and it takes the fun out of everything. For something to be different fills me with joy. Something that makes me think and try to figure things out as opposed to just already knowing. Look at the iridescent add-on. A jumbled mess of fate from the only person you couldn't free. When a survivor loses a detachment state, their aura is revealed to you for 5 seconds. Yeah, definitely decreased that healing nerf to about 20%. And then Bonnie's gone. If a survivor reaches detachment state 4, they will scream and become exposed until they are downed. Or no longer in detachment state 4. During this time, detached mannequins will begin to wander the map at 50% speed. Mannequins will walk towards any loud noise made by a survivor within 24 meters, or towards any survivor within 16 meters. If a survivor is within 2 meters of a detached mannequin, the mannequin will attack them, dealing 1 health state of damage. Survivors do not experience the base side effects of detachment state 4. The only thing I would add is a pseudo negative that would weigh this to not being super OP. If we're changing it to the exposed and everything else. My also second question is, if a survivor uses Circle of Healing, self-care, or anything like that, and they heal themselves, do they lose a detachment state? Or is it only if they heal another survivor? Because by wording, I think it says if they heal another survivor. Yeah, or heal another survivor. The reason I asked that is because of Bonnie's gun. I mean, all of that, I was going to get into that eventually. So, yeah, if it's only if they heal another survivor that state goes, I would definitely, as part of this, make it the where them healing themselves or a perk healing them or anything like that decreases their detachment state. That's what I would add in as a counter for all of that. Um, the screaming exposure, I mean, it kind of is what it is. As long as there's a direct counter to that, it's not that big of a deal. Because what's generally going to happen is they are going to be hit by the particular killer, which is going to take them into an already injured status anyway. And it's just going to keep them exposed until they're healed. So I would make it to where, them getting healed increases their detachment state, or them healing themselves increase their detachment state. To where it adds that extra pressure, even though it's kind of redundant, it adds that extra pressure to them. But I'm removing it because it doesn't make sense. Even you have to injure them to make it active. Yes, it's kind of redundant, but it also does add that adds that extra pressure to them. But I mean, if you're worried too much about the redundancy, you can also change the exposed to just the exhausted status effect as well. I mean, just change statuses to have an equal one that ain't as redundant in this case, or repeating in this case. Change exposed to exhausted, or something like that. That can be changed and that can be altered to do something new. My primary concerns is you have the detached mannequins wandering and heading towards any type of noise. And if they become 16 meters within a particular survivor, they're not going to be able to work on gens or do anything like that. And then they can attack, dealing damage instead of like holding or anything like that. Just to balance the entire equation, you're definitely going to need a negative in a way for survivors to at least have a chance to counter that. And generally, I just make it to where they can either heal themselves, or if somebody else heals them or whatever, it goes both ways so they can get out of that particular state. Now, the only other thing that kind of piques my interest is the fact that you only allow mannequins to move when a survivor is in detached state 4. So on the counter to what I just said, I would definitely make it to where survivors get 2 detachment states per hit, so you can get this effect active and use it more proactively. Or possibly even reworking this to where detached mannequins always just move at all times. But I mean, it is an iridescent add-on. I wouldn't be remiss if you just said, every hit, survivors just get 2 detachment states instead of 1. And then when they hit 4, mannequins move. Then have a counter of the same level. Like my example of where, if the survivor's healed or heals themselves, they lose a state. So you're not losing too much power off the iridescent add-on, but you're able to still get power and keep that pressure. Then I was going to go back and talk about the hit versus the exposed. You could easily just change that to exhaustion or change it to blindness. You can change it to a deafened status effect that I didn't even know existed until today. Gelanoman pointed it out that the hag has a deaf add-on that makes it to where they really can't hear anything. Kind of crazy, kind of wild. Yeah, I agree with that. Thanks for the suggestions. No problem. Just at the end of the day, they're just suggestions. Hopefully, I at least opened your mind into at least a thinking path to where you can find something that you can use, etc., etc. Or just if you decide to remove it altogether or keep it how it is, it is what it is. You are the creator, it is your child. I just ask that you raise your child correctly, at least decently. Perkwise, still heart. You urge to free those held captive with you is felt with every pound from your heart. When you hook a survivor, this perk gains 1 token. For the first 10 seconds of chase, you move 1% faster and your tear radius is increased by 2 meters per token on this perk. Didn't we talk about furtive chase yesterday and how it's kind of similar? It seems like a changed version of that, except for you add a timer to it. But I'm also have a huge question mark over my head. Why 1%? It's not even 1%. Like, I mean, I guess towards the end of the game, if you manage to get 3 survivors out, you'll be moving 9% faster. And you can have up to a max of 11%, but that would be 11% and then 22 extra meters on your tear radius. The last survivor, if they get caught at that point, then, they did something wrong because they're going to be able to hear you approaching from miles away. So for like an extra 0.5, your tear radius is going to be increased up to like 22%. I was just curious why you'd make it just 1%. I was just curious on your reasoning. 1% for 10 seconds. Because you're running a hardcore game and you've hooked every survivor. That's 11 tokens. That's, yeah, like 11%. I guess, let me just stop being lazy and do the math. 11% of 4.6 is equal to, yeah, 0.506. I was right, about 0.5. Faster. So you'd be moving at 5.1 for the first 10 seconds, then you would drop down. I was being super heckling conservative with that value for some reason. Oh, I just found it interesting. I mean, it's fine how it is. If you want to keep it that way, or you can increase it to 2%. Any more than 2%, you would obviously have to find or add in a way for the tokens to be consumed. So, you know, like 1.5, 2%, something like that. It's fine how it is. I mean, like I said with, well, like I used to say, and like I said with one of Galenonum's perks, every killer has a meh perk. It's not very good. It's not very bad. It's just kind of there. That could just be the meh perk. I'd say nothing wrong with it in particular. I was just curious. But melancholic stage, the cities, the realms, they're all the same. For 20, 25, 30 seconds. So 30 seconds after a totem is cleansed, all survivors within 24 meters of it have a 50% decrease in healing, repairing, and searching speeds, in addition to being hindered by 8%. These effects linger for 5 seconds after leaving the radius. Oh, it stays. It's a lingering effect. Welcome back, Galenonum. Is this a lingering effect that just lasts? Is that what I'm getting from this? Or is it is just as it pops? So this is a lingering effect for perk don't touch my totem, or Pete don't touch my totem perk. So this is a lingering effect for 30 seconds of this hitting 24 meters of that particular thing. Jesus Christ, man. 24-meter range, 50% decrease in healing, repairing, and searching speeds. That is insane. But it's very RNG based, huh? Because if it's near a generator, they just screwed themselves. That's gonna be 120 seconds on that bad boy. Well, for the 30 seconds, you'll lose efficiency. So it's not gonna be any higher. It's gonna be an extra, what? It's not 30 seconds, because it only lasts 30 seconds. I'm not gonna go into hard heavy math, so I'm just gonna say it's gonna be an extra 30 seconds on top of generators. If you get that nice pop. But if this ends up, if you run any hex perks and it doesn't end up in a good spot, then it's essentially useless. So it's kind of a gamble, risk versus reward, I suppose. The only problem I have with this, obviously, is Haddonfield, Midwich, Leroy, and any other maps that are small that has a dearth of generators, like Gideon, things like that, to where that could really just destroy. Anything that has either a multitude of generators that are fairly close to each other, an upstairs and a downstairs, that can destroy. Well, yeah, I guess it's good for Haddonfield. Haddonfield is bad for Killer. So that's kind of tit for tat there. That's even. But Jesus Christ. I just imagine an RPD, which I already hate, in DC from. Anybody trying to play that's gonna hate life. I don't know how I feel about this. Well, it can be insane, but the thing is, can. Yeah, can. It's really the thing is, can. If it gets the activation, you are in Cloud 9, but if it misses its activation, then rip. To be fair, though, you can kind of increase your odds by stack dumping just hex on hex on hex on hex. Like Hex Undying mixed with this, maybe Haunted Grounds. You could either get the double Haunted Grounds activation or the double Melancholic Stage activation with that. So, I mean, you have chances to get this effect working. And you can run that, this perk, Haunted Ground Undying, and you can run Devour of Hope or even Noad at the end of the day if you can't get these activations just as a cleanup perk. That's terrifying. The sad thing is, I could see the behavior staff putting this in. That's what I find interesting. This is the type of bullshit that they would add into the game. Oh yeah, seems good. Whoop. And then the killer base or survivor base would all rage and say it's not, it's too hard, it's unbalanced and all of this other stuff, when it's actually just a risk versus reward perk. You can let it run by itself and take a lark, or you can keep throwing other perks and hexes at it and try to make it work to your advantage. mm. No, and I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to say, well met and well played, sir. You got me on that one. Your brain 5D chessed me like Galanonum 5D chessed me earlier. Fair enough. Fading freedom. Strings. So many strings. I'm tired of the strings on this mother map. Oh my god. Picture the map for that mannequin killer. Jesus. I imagine like creepy old attics and scary just haunted corridors and things like that. I gotta get back. No tangents. When you start a chase with a survivor, while another survivor is hooked, this perk gains 1 token. For each token, regression rates on generators are increased by 25%. 1 token is lost each time a survivor is unhooked. Add a cooldown to the effect, and you have yourself a deal. Because Legion would eat this shit up. The Blight would eat this shit up. Anything that has a fast, even Nurse would technically eat this up. Anybody that can move quickly around the map or has a teleport or anything like that. Ah, sewers, huh? Map of the mannequin would probably be sewers of a city, but that's mannequin lore. Why you gotta bring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into this? Forgot the name of my own killer. The automaton. Probably because I keep calling it the mannequin, even though, I mean, it is a mannequin. I just ain't been calling it by its proper name. The mechanic is good in my opinion, but increased rate is too big. Maybe less bonus with more tokens. Oh, definitely. The 25% per token is definitely. I guess I could see that stacking with the ruin and being ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge cooldown because you do want to rapidly get chases, but with no cooldown, Legion doing his, run to somebody, hit them, chain to another person, hit them type thing. That's 2 chases right there. That's 2 free tokens. So, I mean, a decent Legion should be able to get 2 tokens per hook. Fun fact, it used to be 50% a token. What the hell? With Ruin, you would leave a gen for 10 seconds to meet him with 0 progress. That would be brutal. God dang, son. 400% is 1 for 1. Because 200% is 1 for 2, so 400% you would assume would be a 1 for 1. Woo. 300% is 1.5. Or not 1.5. What the hell am I talking about? Whatever I said 0.5 before. You know the math. Dang it. So, I guess my final question for Fading Freedom is the regression rate, is it only affected when a survivor is on a hook? Or is it just forever? I guess that's my main question that I have here. Because if it's just forever, then that's a whole different path to where, having just a huge regression rate when a survivor's on a hook. It's constant. Jesus Christ. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna rage quit. Is this goddamn killer? God dang it. Somebody gets hooked, he's just dead. Everybody jump in a locker and you let this guy die. I swear, if any of you give him a chase while you're running up to unhook that survivor, I'm gonna lose my mind. That's what's gonna happen. It's already a decent camper, so when anybody goes for an unhook, if you can cut them off early enough and force them into a chase, and then walk away from them, and they go for the unhook again, and you force them into another chase, you could essentially milk a, well, that's phrasing. You could exploit a survivor for tokens. To be fair, the 1 token you can get per hook will be lost when they're unhooked anyway. With a cooldown, 1 token per. But without a cooldown, you can just keep getting it over and over. It wouldn't need a cooldown if the chase would have to last at least a few good seconds. Fair. Instead of making a cooldown, make it to where the chase has to last X amount of seconds before you get the token. That would be rewarding good play and would actually ensure that you're staying or that you have to stay in chase and you're not just Legion hopping. Yeah, it's like a kick in the nuts to Legion, huh? Don't milk survivors, please. God dang. Did not drop immediately. Cooldown is planned. No, true. Yeah. Yeah, that would nerf Blight, Legion, Nurse, all of that. Good. They should have been a better killer. Somebody hates Legion. So yeah, there we go. Through the three of us, we found interesting balance and nerfed Legion while we were at it. So they can't just token farm. Their unlimited kill for killer instinct and tear radius perks kinda makes that OP. Fair enough. This perk stacks very well with Devourer of Hope too. Yeah, we are. Legion's getting a nerf, baby. Yeah. Legion gets no fun. The guy can't catch a break pretty much. Forget Nerf and Pig. Nerf Legion. Free Pig 2022. Nerf Legion. Free Pig. Oh my god. That's crazy. Yeah, this goes very well with Devourer of Hope. You can get that chase off and continue to go. You'll get tokens. I mean, essentially, you'll lose one, but if you can do this appropriately and keep getting that regression rate up and things like that, beautiful. So now, let's talk about this extra 25% regression rate you have going on. Oh my. That's... Let's break that down. Every 25% would be what, like 0.1 added? 1, 2, 3, no. 0.125. 1, 2, 3, no. What's the math on that? What is a 25% regression rate? If 200% regression rate is 1 to 2, 100% would be 1 to 4. So brain just fried. I'm trying to do mental math. Each token is 1/4 of ruin. But I want to know an exact number. I figured out that it was that, but I want to know. Well, each token is an eighth of ruin. Because ruin's 200%. So each token is a eighth of ruin. But I don't want to do an eighth of a half. I guess it's a 16th, but I want to know the exact number of time to get this. Let's see if 25% a token is decent or not. But I don't feel like doing the math. I don't have a pencil or anything that I can just sit down and be like, Oh, 0.3125 charges per second per totem. There we go. So 0.3. And if I was to do 0.3125 times 8, it should equal to 2? Wait, 2? Where the hell did I get 2? Plus 0.0625 charges per second for each token. My brain. All right. I was being a dumb with the phrasing. So if I do 0.0625 times by 8 equals 0.5. So whatever that 0.0625 is, I need to times that by 16? 32. 32. So that is slightly off. It's close, but not exactly. Yeah. It's 200% regression rate, which makes it end up being a 1 for 2. Regular regression rate is 1 for 4, which would be 100% regression is a fourth. 200% regression would be half. Oh, I see. So I need to take a fourth and then divide that by 4. So if I take your number times 4, it gives 0.25. That's 0.25 off 4. And then I would have to times it by 2 to get back to normal, times 2, which would give you 0.5. Okay, you didn't blew my mind with that 0.5, the same as Ruin. Where's the 0.5 adding in this? From 0.25 to 0.5. Oh, you're actually doing decimals. Okay, you're going by decimals though. I gotcha. The 0.25 being a fourth to 0.5 being Ruin's half because it's a 1 to 2. Gotcha. Gotcha. And then you would just take the 25.25 divided by 4. Well, that's a lot easier, huh? Just going 0.25 divided by 4, which gives you your 0.0625. Gotcha. So you're getting 0.0625 as a whole number. But I wanted And I need to convert the 0.0625 into a fraction, which I'm not doing. So we're just going to use 0.0625. Actually, there we go. 1 to 16. The 1/16 is 0.0625. Which I already did the math on that, but yeah. Cool. Gotcha. We're on the same page now. 0.625, which is that times 4, is the same as ruin. Or 0.25. Well, 0.5 is ruin in this case. Yeah. So 0.25 plus that equals... Well, that times 4 equals ruin. No, it should be that times 8, right? Because ruin's essentially 25% here, and... Or 25%. Ruin is 200%. And at base values, yours is adding 25%. So you would need 8 of your particular tokens to hit ruin. Now, have I lost my mind? Or am I just incorrect because I'm looking at percentages instead of whole number? Well, not whole numbers, but numbers. Gotcha. Ruin is 2 times the regression speed, not 200%. Well, I mean, ruin regression speed is 200% of regular speed. It's sort of like killer speed is 115% of survivor speed, where survivor is 100% running at 400 or 4 meters per second. That's 100%. Then 115% being killer is the 4.6. So it's Dead by Daylight's, well, it's not Dead by Daylight's weird math, it's the engine's weird math that they use. So when I say ruin is 200% regression speed, it's 200% of the regular regression speed, which is 1 to 4. So 100% regression speed's 1 to 4, 200% is 1 to 2. That's where I got that number from. So I'm on the good page. I'm on the right page. I got the number that I eventually wanted, and that was the for each token you're adding a 16th worth of speed, which is 0.0625. So if we go all the way back to this regular concept, per token you're going from, you know, losing 1% every 16 seconds. So 2 tokens, 2 to 16, 3 to 16, 4 to 16, 5 to 16, 6 to 16, etc., 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 or 0.0625. So breaking it down, 25% isn't necessarily that brutal because we're looking at an 80-second base. Don't you add more math to me, Critty. I figured it out. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. My brain already hurts. It's too much. So, additive, essentially, if you max out this particular perk, you are adding 100% regression rate. Additive to your regular 100% regression rate, which gives you ruin. Gotcha. Yeah, it's math. Very terrifying because of how Dead by Daylight's engine makes everything. See you, Galenonum. Thank you for stopping by, as always. And I hope to see you soon. So I understand what you were saying then. That add times 2 equals ruin. So this perk at 4 maximum tokens is the same as ruin. Because you're adding 100% to the already 100% regression rate to make ruin. Gotcha. I understand that. So this would be... Woo! This stack with ruin is just disgusting. It's straight up disgusting. Mm. I like the perk by itself, but I don't like it stacked with anything that further regresses generators. If you run this perk and you run it with Ruin and you run it with the I think the Artist's perk that regresses generators and everything else, that is a disgusting amount of regression. You probably have to run Ghostface's perk though to force survivors off of generators for that 16 seconds. Hopefully they will stay off of the generator and not just wait around for it to stop. Because if not, it's not going to matter how much regression if a survivor's constantly working on a generator. So you either have to be running Ruin and, patrolling and doing whatever you need to do to get it done, or you're going to have a way to knock survivors off of generators and hope they stay off. But I mean, the only way to really run this perk, you'd have to run it with Ruin. Because if not, then you're only regressing anything that you kick, because it doesn't automatically regress generators. So you have Ruin, and now you have a way to make Ruin more effective. So on that note, I actually like how this perk works, because this is a way to keep Ruin in the game the entirety of the time, except for you have to kick generators. Or if you run it with Ruin, this supplements Ruin and makes it where the survivors will have to find the Ruin X totem. Because when I play games with Ruin, I just ignore Ruin altogether. This will make it to where I'm forced to do something, because if I get chased off this generator, it's basically going back down to 0. Yeah, it's a Ruin that stacks with pop too. Exactly. Very well too, because that regression rate will apply to the pop. So they'll actually lose a lot more regression rate on top of that. We will see. They send it to the public test beta, is the only thing I can say. It has to be ran in game to see if it's going to be detrimental to players. New players, it's going to absolutely destroy them. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be so filthy. Especially if you can sneak in like Huntress's Lullaby too. And they're just gonna keep blowing generators and all of that. Then once you go after them, the progress that they do is gonna get reset. They are done. They will never complete a round of Dead by Daylight. Ever. If they're new. Medium players, you're gonna put a lot of pressure on them. And they're gonna have to climb to a higher skill cap. And they're really gonna have to stick those generators and actually play like the advanced players. Advanced players, they're not gonna care. One of them's gonna probably run you while the other one's complete generators, and then they're just gonna stack it to try to get it done as fast as possible. And if they happen to go by Ruin being stacked with it or something like that, they'll just pop it as they're going new or through. So lower and mid level, this perk is ridiculously powerful. High level, it's not gonna affect them that much. They'll gripe about it, but they'll just play around it. Yeah, public test beta, definitely. Survivor wise, Boone Meltdown. It's actually the second time I've seen a Boone named Meltdown. Humanity's tools are all that can save you here. Might as well make the most of them. Press and hold the active ability. Yeah, Boone Totems. While within the Boone Totem's range, items currently held by a survivor will recharge 0.35 charges per second as long as they're not currently being used. When this Boone Totem is stuffed out, all items recharged by it lose 10% of their current charges. Make it faster or you're just gonna have dumb survivors standing out, getting their items recharged. And instead of doing charges per second, I would recommend doing percentages. So things like keys and things like or strong like keys that have ore reading on killer and things like that. Or even flashlights and beamers and things like that. The more useful items aren't getting super fast charges back. Whereas the useless items like toolbox, or not useless, but the toolboxes and things like that aren't getting enough charges back in a decent amount of time to make them very useful. Yeah, but I mean, you know, using a particular toolbox at only 0.35 charges per second, it's going to take forever for that toolbox to charge. And if you're using a commodious toolbox, which has the 32 charges, good luck. That ain't coming back. That is not coming back. But I assume you did the math and figured out that 0.35 in some way was balanced. I don't want to do any more math. I ain't gonna lie to you. There you go. Yeah, you did the math. Because I don't want to do any more math. So I'm gonna trust you on that one. This also helps save keys just in case you use all of your key up and can't go through the hatch. You can walk by this totem, charge your key ever so slightly, and then head out. I mean, yeah, yes. Med kits with add-ons will be extremely affected by this, but a base med kit ain't gonna do much. Unless you have some sort of, self-care or circle of healing or something else like that that you can finish the heal with. But I mean, built to last is a thing too. Streetwise is a thing, and now we're adding in this particular totem as well. It's not very effective for toolboxes though. They're kind of just left out in the dust. But I mean, I guess not being able to recharge a toolbox and add more time to gens, or at least not a significant amount of time to gens, ain't that bad either. Medkits, you'll probably charge your medkit round about the time when you finish a generator. Your medkit will be essentially good to go. Well, yeah. Right around the time you finish the generator, your medkit will be decently ready to go, if not fully charged. Should be fully charged, but I don't know what items and charges and everything else, the maximum amount of charges you can have in a medkit, and I'm not doing the math to figure that out. This is the only one that can make items last forever. Yeah. Which may or may not be a problem, depending on what the item is. Send it to the public test beta, because I don't want to do math. The medkit should be good to go in around half a gen if it's 16 charges. Yeah, standard medkit, definitely. But you have the Ranger medkits and all the other different kinds of medkits. Then you can add charges to those medkits. And I don't want to do the math to find out the maximum amount of charges you can have. And I figured after adding all of that in, you should for the most part have those med kits topped off by the time the generator gets done. You'll at least have enough for more than 16 charges to get a heal. That's guaranteed. So per generator, you're essentially getting a med kit or a charge in your med kit. Which I mean, technically, nah, I'm not even gonna suggest that. That's dumb. Nope, I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna say. Jesus Christ, I can't even believe that thought even popped into my head. I'll say it just for the lulz, but I was gonna say, oh, well, not just incorporate a perk that when you do a generator, you get charges back in your item. Dumb as fuck. Do not listen to this man. He has lost his mind. Yeah, let's just make gen rushers more powerful. Good job, Q. Good job. Calculated risk. Sometimes a leap of faith is what you need to get ahead. When a survivor gets hooked while you're repairing a generator, that generator is blocked for 24 seconds. While that generator is blocked, all of your altruistic action speeds are increased by 33%. Oh no, LMAO. Yeah. Very dumb. Very, very dumb. Interesting. I wouldn't personally use calculated risk because it's against my play style, but I would be so happy if somebody that was working on a generator that goes for an immediate unhook when ruin is active, if that generator was blocked off, for them to get that unhook and go back to it, because they kill me. They'll be working on a generator, get it up. Somebody will get hooked. They'll immediately let go of their generator that they have like 60% done, run over for the unhook, come back, and then start working on the same generator. And that generator just be down to nothing. And I'm like, if you'd have just took that extra 20 seconds to finish that generator before you ran off like an idiot and used the hang time to your advantage, you would have finished the generator and saved that person. But some people be stupid. why I hate resets and happen to go through the can't use that word, swamp of new people. Plus, I like the altruistic action speeds. That's very nice. That would make a unhook go faster and the heal go faster. um, that lasts for 24 seconds. So yeah, that's more than enough time. Dragoon. By force and valor. Dragoons. I was in basic. That was our saying. By force and valor. We were the dragoons. So that's kind of funny seeing dragoon there. Taking a hit or two won't kill you. When within 4 meters of an injured survivor currently in chase, you can click the active ability button to push them 4 meters in a direction away from the killer. Doing this removes the exhaustion effect from that survivor if they are afflicted with it and applies 10% haste to them for 5 seconds. After doing this, you're exhausted for 60 seconds and hindered by 10% for 5 seconds. This cannot be used while exhaustion. What the hell is this? Understandable that stuff can be annoying. So you're giving them a speed boost and you're taking the exhaustion status effect away from them and giving it to yourself, also slowing down your speed. So you're giving them your speed and you're taking their exhaustion from them. If that's what I'm understanding correctly. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be kind of pissed off if I was part of a gang squad and they just kept pushing each other away. I'd lose my goddamn mind. Because this is a pseudo infinite. If all 4 people are wearing it or running it, you push somebody, getting or giving them or getting rid of their exhaustion effect, and then they can in turn turn around and push you, and you two can just keep pushing each other while you're running. You push them a little bit, they push you, and then you both can just kind of keep going. If there's 4 survivors, as survivors are getting hit, you push them, or about to get hit, you push them. It's not a perfect combination of that, but it can be used if they are smart about it. Or you can just set up a chain and just each of you unhook and then push a survivor to an exit gate. Just woo! Now that would be funny to see. Just a big meme build. You unhook somebody, you push them. The next person gives them a push. The next person gives them a push. The next person gives them a push. Then the guy in the back takes a hit from the killer, uses that speed boost to get to the third guy. They push him. I don't know. It'd be hilarious to see. As long as the guy doesn't forget as he's running through to push the guy back after he's pushed to reset them, it'd be a funny chain. I could allow you to push anybody. Oh god, that's even worse. Anti-sandbagging perk that's also the best sandbag perk. That would be hilarious. You want to sandbag me? I kind of want to see that chain in action to see if anybody could pull that off flawlessly. Killer runs back to hook. Survivor unhooks killer, pushes them. That killer pushes the other survivor back and uses the speed boost. Probably when he used borrowed time so that survivor doesn't accidentally go back down while he's trying to repush back. Other survivor starts running, gets slapped in the back, pushes the survivor, they push them back, and then they both continue the run. Killer slaps the other one to the other person. They do the double push method, and it just keeps going. I would stop and I would cry. I couldn't do it. I would literally stop and cry. I'd be like, "What is this bullshit? They're literally running a train on me." Then the ability to just push anybody at any time, as long as it doesn't take or get rid of their exhaustion status effect. Being able to push anybody wouldn't be too bad. But you're literally gonna make people cry using that perk. Oh, I'm just laughing, just visualizing it. Survivor train. And it doesn't even have to be on an unhook. You can literally, as a killer's coming up to a particular generator, just have everybody assigned to push somebody. And they can just push, push, and then both of them just split off and run in different directions. If you're a range killer, that's a pain in the ass for you, but like I said about Galanonom's perk, it's the same speed. Get good. If you're a mouse one killer, I mean, you still can catch them. You're still faster than they are. That's hilarious. You only get power after getting hit, though. If the killer doesn't necessarily hit you, you really can't go anywhere, though. Oh boy. Oh my god. And imagine, since it removes exhaustion, if you just said screw the pushback and you just ran like sprint burst or something. Or if you caught them before they got hit and they used like a borrowed time overcome style build, like a syringe or something to get those double hits, or any other different kinds of combinations. That is nasty. Jesus. A Dragoon train would be funny though. Oh, it'd be definitely funny. This would be the ultimate perk and also meme perk. You want to run a backpack build? I'll run a Dragoon build. Gank squads don't need more power though. Please don't empower gank squads. It would be funny, but oh my god, I'd lose my mind. Hmm. So yeah, remove the exhaustion effect, or the ability to remove the exhaustion effect. remove, wow, remove the exhaustion effect. Now that's a sentence. And for the most part, it's not necessarily bad. I mean, you already have the perk that when you want to hook somebody, they get that speed boost. If you stack both of them together and you want to hook them and then apply that speed boost, they could get a real fast speed boost if you add sprint burst with that. And you would just have rescue speed perks. I've updated it to work on any survivor and it no longer gives exhaustion. It also no longer hinders you when you use it. Oh no. When within 4 meters of a injured survivor currently in check. Wait, it didn't save. It didn't save. It's probably got to be approved by an admin. Oh, you haven't hit save yet. Well, that makes sense. And it no longer uses exhaustion. I haven't hit save yet. So it works on any survivor. It no longer gives or removes exhaustion. I'm assuming removes exhaustion. It also no longer hinders you when you use it, which is a fair assessment. You can click that ability to push survivors 4 meters in the opposite direction from you. Now it's a troll perk. You want to sandbag me? Go to the goddamn killer, bitch. Oh, that's hilarious. You can literally just throw people back. I can see somebody camping at an exit gate as they're being chased by a killer, throwing another survivor behind them, and the killer just clapping that survivor's cheeks at the exit door. Oh my god. Yes. Oh man. That's good. Oh, that's good. It's the perfect perk. Oh man. Ooh. Just that scenario, a survivor teabagging while injured, or if you're up against like a tier 3 or a tombstone Michael Myers or something. Literally just yeeting a survivor behind you. Like, oh, you don't want to take the borrowed time hit, bitch? Get your ass back there. And just letting that survivor just get clapped while you run out. We need this perk in the game. Behavior. Please. Oh my god, that'd be so good. You can use it to save a teammate's life, and they can take the chase from you. Or you can clap at survivor that ain't doing anything. Oh man. Two survivors run out in the same direction from a generator. You can just throw that survivor back behind you. Oh my god. Oh, that's good. That's a good way to end things. Oh my god. Alright, that's almost 3.5 hours. I think I'm done here. We have found the ultimate perk. I wish there was a way to ship that to behavior, because I literally would. Just straight up. Boom. Add this to your game. Now. Do it now. My exhaustion perks are so cursed. Oh my god. You know, you just stumbled upon perfection is what you did. Behavior likes meme builds and memes and things like that. They might actually add that in if they see it. Oh my god. Because they incorporated a survivor that literally is based off of screwing people over. So why not add in a perk as part of like the ultimate meme survivor and have like perks incorporated into that meme survivor? It allows you to just yeet survivors. Oh my god. Kick the killer in the face, push survivors into the killer. Oh man. Oh my. That would be even funnier. You kick the killer in the face, yeet your buddy to the killer when he gets unstunned, and then just leave. Now that's YouTube content right there, or Twitch content. Oh man, if only they made it readily available for you to design perks and implement them into the game. Ooh. The perk needs a special name. A special meme name. Oh my god. Dragoon is a pretty memey name, but I think there's something better to just yeeting people into killers. Jesus. Ooh. My most recent exhaustion perks are 100% content. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Alright. I just got a package in the mail and I'm hungry, so I essentially have things to do. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for giving me that content and laugh that I needed. It's the reason I saved both of you guys as perks for the day. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Ooh, as always, supplement your lifestyle, and I'll see you next time.